have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadet. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Suson Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jodi Suson. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Self-Care with Suson Essentials. And I am so excited to have such amazing guests on my show every single week. And today we have Nickey Sampson. Nickey Sampson is a coach, and she often talks about how the only barriers that you have in your life are, guess what? You. And she coaches people and supports others as a confidential think partner. And then we have Jamie Klein. Jamie Klein is a registered nurse, and she's certified as a brain health coach through Amen Clinics. So the two of them together are amazing souls on how they support others in supporting themselves. And it's all about empowering others to be the best version of themselves. And we also have our executive producer here today, Naima Latif, who is such a wise soul that she kind of transcends. Actually, I don't have a completion for that sentence. Just be honest. She just moves people into another dimension. So without further ado, I will bring on Jamie Klein. Good morning, Jamie.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
And we are going to bring on Nickey Sampson. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I am really good. And we're going to bring on Naima as soon as she gets into her chair. She's we just kind of go with the flow on this show.
The best kind.
Well, is it Forrest Gump, right? Who says life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yes.
Same with this show. Just saying.
I appreciate that. That is I can't follow a script. My intuition is like, no, that's not for us. We're gonna go off today.
Well, and it's so true. It's like, the reason people like us we can't follow scripts is because we're led by the divine. Right?
Yeah.
So he's like, sorry, nice that somebody wrote you a script.
Right. I appreciate it. So I kind of know what the box looks like. It helps me to a little bit paint a picture. But then I try to follow it word by word, and all of a sudden I get done and I'm like, now what did I even say? Maybe 20% of it I remembered. I feel like sometimes I hit the topics and I'm like, okay, please just help me, give me the words that my clients need. That's really my goal at the end of the day.
Well, and here's the thing. So it's really authentic to not follow the script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
And you have to trust yourself, though. Like, that's where it kind of really comes that you have to trust that you will have everything and you will be given everything at the right time. And I think that's what kind of always just skews us, is we want to have it and we want to see it before we believe it. And you go back and forth. So then we just lose trust in ourselves and we get so far off base that it just, life just happens and we're asking everybody else how we should operate. And,
I completely agree.
Yeah,
I was in a group of psychologists last week, and I'm trying to give them some sort of a script on exactly what it is I do and how I do it, and it's just not concrete, and it's so different for every person that it was just very difficult to explain, and it seemed vague, and so we started talking about individual cases, for example, and then it became a lot more easy, simple for me to explain. Okay, so in this situation, this would be how a much more likely route to take to help someone, but every person is so different in the help that they need and how to help them.
So here's the thing. The topic today is about interferences in our life, right, that contribute to the anxiety. And so let me just say this. When you were trying to remember a script, did that cause anxiety and stress?
For sure. Yeah. And to try to even make it concrete made it stressful because it's just not, there isn't really a script because every situation is different that you go into. I mean, we have the tools to use, but the way that you use the tools and the order that you use the tools change based on the person and what their needs are. And, when you're working with someone, you want to meet their most immediate needs first. And so one person's most pressing need might be different than the next. So it's very different every person I work with, and every time that we, have something to tackle, it doesn't look the same.
So the first then message for today, for those who are listening, who want to learn how to remove interferences that contribute to anxiety, might be your authentic self, because trying to remember somebody else's script and somebody else's idea doesn't align with your highest values, right? And causes anxiety and stress.
Exactly.
Yeah. And society doesn't want you to be your authentic self, though. We're kind of like in this widget making society that there's such a script in the widget making world that it's hard to even, when you want to be your authentic self, then like you get the labels of the black sheep or what's wrong with you. People eye roll when you try to explain what you're trying to do and you're not totally concrete in it yet. And so then it's just like that compounds the anxiety of, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, or I don't belong to the tribe, or like it just kind of spirals out. And then all of a sudden you're like 2 weeks in, you just are one big anxiety ball. And you know, the feeling in your body is now heavy and compressed. And like, how do you get that big? It's like a blanket just weighted on you and you can't get it off.
Yeah. And I have to tell you, it was probably back like in the 80s. I was, you know, putting myself through college and I was a spritzer girl, right, at Marshall Fields. And I would go to all the different Marshall Field stores in the Chicagoland area. And this woman managed me. And she says, you need to make sure that everybody loves you. I thought, ooh, that's so not going to happen.
That's heavy.
Tall order.
So heavy.
I'm like, not everybody, like most of the world. I mean, I wouldn't say most of the world doesn't like me. So cancel, cancel, cancel. What I will say is I am not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm totally okay with that, right? Like I get that I'm, you know, going a little bit one way when other people may be going another. And that's okay. I'm not here to follow. I'm here to lead, like you two are. You're not here to follow. You're here to lead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And helping. And at what age did you come up with the I'm not everybody's cup of tea? Have you always been like that, or
yeah.
that just everybody?
I knew that out of the get-go. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think about how like women say, I hit 30 and, you know, I started kind of finally understanding myself. Then I hit 40 and I like stopped caring what other people think. And then I hit 50 and I really didn't. So now I can really be my full self. So it's like, I always think about how we can get the kids to understand they're not everybody's cup of tea when they're 6 and not ever lose it. Like, so you don't lose that like 40-year gap to, right? Because that's what, when we talk about barriers and anxiety creation is like, when you have to be everybody's cup of tea and everybody has to love you, that's like a pressure that you now take on. Because like when you're, like they say, you're a video camera from the 3rd trimester till you're 7, and so you're just like video camera and everything, and then you make meaning out of it. And so it's like when she says that, you need to, you know, you need to be the nice girl, the good girl, everybody needs to love you, whatever the story is that you heard when you were young, you now make that your meaning maker. And then it causes those disempowering feelings that you're now just like, your thoughts create it, you just keep going in that loop.
Well, so, okay, so that's a really good point. So here's the thing. I knew from the get-go I would never be everyone's cup of tea. Here's where the stress was, and you and Jamie can pipe in about how you would, you know, help people through this. So, yeah, I knew that. And my question was, well, how that was I supposed to convince this other woman that I wasn't supposed to be everyone's cup of tea? Right. Yeah, because essentially she was my manager. I mean, I was a contractor, you know, just, you know, going from store to store, but she still held the ticket to my income while I was in school. And a lot of people are in that situation. Oh, and Naima's here. Naima, we're bringing you in. Naima.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. I had an unexpected emergency right before the show started. I'm like, I gotta get back. But you know, hey, I love this conversation because I can definitely relate. And I tell you, something does happen at the age of 50. But if you think you got free at age 50, when I turned 60, I totally did not care what anybody thought about me. I didn't care if they liked what I said. I didn't care if they liked what I looked like, because it's like, I am who I am, and you can't change anything about me. You can't change what I've achieved. You can't change what I've become. You can't change what I've done. You can't redefine me. I am who I am, and I'm comfortable with that, and I don't need you to like it. So there's just a total freedom that comes when you reach that age. You know, when my husband, you know, may he enjoy his afterlife, he used to say when he turned 60, he used to always, preface everything he got ready to say. Somebody asked him a question. He'd say, well, as an elder, I want to tell you blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, oh, please, with this elder. But he would say that all the time. But then when I turned 60, I finally got it. It's like you feel that you have the authority to say whatever you think because you've lived enough, you've proved yourself enough, you've gained enough wisdom where people need to listen to what you have to say because you know something. And
like you authentically know who you are and you can't change it. Nobody can change it.
Nobody can change it. Nobody can damage your self-esteem. Nobody can make you feel less than. It doesn't matter how nasty they are to you. They can't change who you are to yourself. And that's the most liberating feeling you can ever have.
I think that comes with so much work too, to get to that place. So, that's an amazing journey that you've gotten to. And I think that's what people, it sounds so amazing, but then people are probably wondering, well, how do I get there? What do I have to do to get there? Because I wasn't born, the same way Jodi was, just not worrying about if I was somebody's cup of tea. I had a lot of work to do to get there, and a lot of work to go through to get to that place of peace where it wasn't an issue and it wasn't that I was okay in my own skin and okay with who I was. And I think that people that try to fit into, like Jodi said, so many different people's idea of what's okay, you totally lose yourself and you stay stuck in that situation. And I think you can get out of it, but it takes a lot of work on yourself. And people today, I think it's hard to take time to put the work into themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, so I want to bring clarity to something. I knew who I was as a young girl, and I was okay with it. Here was the problem. I had zero filter. So I spent decades, and I do mean decades, figuring out how to filter what I said in a way that could be heard. Just because I was okay didn't mean anybody else was. So I was forced with becoming as an effective communicator as I could possibly be. Right. I didn't have a filter.
Yeah. So that means you said whatever you thought and people didn't like your thoughts.
No.
That's called learning diplomacy, because you do have to be sensitive to other people's feelings. And that's something that's learned as well, So there's a difference between acquiescing to things that you don't agree to and having sensitivity to other people's feelings and perceptions so that you don't offend them by saying things that they could misinterpret. Because people can easily.
We have two callers. I have to flip back and forth between three tabs to run the show. We have a couple callers. Do you guys want to take a caller now and answer some questions? Okay.
Sure. Ask them, please stay on the subject. We love our callers, but we are talking about this. Please don't call in and talk about something else. I love you all, but respect.
Right. So
as an elder, I'm telling you,
talking about how to remove interferences to get rid of the anxiety and stress of life is what you want to talk about. If you want to talk about something else, well, wait till we come up with that topic.
Right.
So we have 312-671. We are going to bring you on once you let us know who you are and what your question is for Jamie Klein, Naima Latif, or Nickey Sampson, or myself. All right, here we go.
Shalom.
Hello.
Great rising. This is Minister Robert Floyd Cole Plump. And Naima, you hit it. You hit the hammer on the nail. I am, we had to 60. A lot of people don't know. I am equals to 23. And you got to that age in reality that you didn't care what anybody thought about you. I'm at that age now, and now is the time. I remember And happy belated Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. Mama D always say, way on and happy birthday to Dr. King and Muhammad Ali. And I just want to relate to you all in that way, Naima. Did you know, my question is to you, did you know I am equals to 23?
No, how does
Yeah,
that?
I'm not a numerologist, so I do not know the number value of letters or words or symbols or any of that. That's not something that I have studied at all, nor do I know anything about what each number means vibrationally. Some people are very adept at that. That's not one of my gifts, skills, and talents and understandings.
Well, it's a gift. It's a gift, and as to me that I'm sharing with you, because my baby brother, his name was Stanley Rich Martin, and he shared that gift with me, and I'm sharing it with you, and I will share it with the world, because Dr. King used to say, nothing is come to a man when his time comes, and he know it, and he be. So there's no Muhammad Ali without Dr. King. I got a picture, Naima, and I want to use this picture to the advantage of God will only. And the people, which is the female solution, for example. On this picture, it has the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Dr. King, Muhammad Ali and Dr. King, Malcolm X and Dr. King, Mayor Hal Washington and Coretta Scott King, and it has Dr. King and
So wait, I'm not sure where this is going. Can you help me? Because I want to
We're
make
waiting for the question, Minister Plum.
I'm not sure where this is going.
Naima, remember Pastor Mary and Earl Thornton, and that's Pastor Thornton was a mentor, Dr. King. So now we have launched the 23 theme, which is in music, and the music comes from Mayor Hal Washington.
Okay, so hold on, Minister Plum, hold on. Let me let our host, Jodi Suson, remind you of the topic and the subject so that as one of our elders, you can ask a question that will give our guest an opportunity to share some of their wisdom.
Right, thank you.
Okay.
So do you have a question? Because if not, we have to mute you. Sorry.
Yes, I have a question for you, sister, as the host. My question to you is, the topic is anxiety, right?
Removing interferences that contribute to anxiety and stress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm in that position right now. Anxiety and stress because of experiencing something that happened to me personally in my life. So, first of all, I want to know from you as the host, what is your interpretation of anxiety and stress? What does that mean to you? Thank you.
That's an easy question. Thank you so much. So it's when I'm not living incongruent with my highest values, those things that add the greatest value to my everyday activities and my long-term goals in my life. So if I'm not doing like when you were talking about things that don't relate to this show, my anxiety levels went way up. Okay. So because now I'm not living incongruent with my highest values, which was contributing to the world about how to remove interferences that contribute to anxiety. That's the topic of today's show.
And also one of the things I want to point out, as an intuitive, people who are intuitive, you can feel other people's anxiety.
Yes.
And so sometimes if something happens and someone says or does something and it makes someone in the gathering uncomfortable, an intuitive person can feel it. And that's part of what you have to develop as a being, understanding we're all connected psychically, energetically. So when you develop that sensitivity, that also helps you, even as you're speaking, to understand the effect you're having on people, whether you're bringing calmness or you're creating anxiety. And so this is part of what we talked about, working on yourself, understanding that you have to develop that sensitivity to tune into other people's feelings so that you're communicating on not just a vocal level, but also an energetic level, a spiritual level, where you can feel the effect of what you're saying and doing. And you always want to make sure that you bring peace to every situation that you're in by the way you speak, by the way you respond, by your body language. And this is how we can affect the environment that we're in. So if you feel things, if you feel uncomfortable or you feel someone else's discomfort, that's an opportunity to inject something that can bring their stress level down. And you can actually physically affect their physical body if you can be in tune with that and understand how to reduce their stress.
Thank you. Jamie, Nickey, anything you want to add to that? Go ahead, Nickey. Jamie. Oh,
I could add to that a little bit. Yeah, so it's like when someone walks in the room and you feel better. There's people that walk into the room and you feel their energy, things feel better. And there is actually, from a medical side of things, there actually is evidence that shows, that your heart releases electromagnetic energy and your emotions release energy that other people can feel. Some people can feel it, some people can't. The people that tend to be able to feel it are the people who are able to become more centered and that are more intuitive into their own being and their own self. They're able to get centered. They probably practice meditation a little bit more. Those people are able to kind of feel things separate from just someone's voice or separate from just someone's body language. And that kind of goes into what I do with biofeedback, as far as they're all systems that are working together. And if we have one system that's off in our body, our brain communicates with our gut, communicates with our heart, and communicates with our other organs. And if something is off, everything feels it. And so it's the same thing when you walk into a room and you are feeling something, you're feeling anxiety because someone else is upset, or you're feeling anxiety because there's something not right in the room. That's just all our, interconnectedness. And it happens on so many levels, but it definitely happens on a level that is, from an energy level.
Well, and I mean, it's so spot on. And those things are impacted when your brain is not communicating well with your gut or any other body part. People need to look at what are you fueling your body with. And I always return back to the 3 basic T's, toxins, traumas, and thoughts, right? And those 3 things, toxins being in your food supply, your water supply, your air supply, and those come from the pesticides or the chemicals that are used in the home to clean the home. A lot of women, if we have women listening today, which I really hope we do with the female solution, right? The makeup that you're putting on your face. So if you're putting makeup on your face and you can't read the ingredients and understand what it is, know that you're putting usually parabens and which are endocrine disrupting chemicals on your face that contribute to hormone dysfunction. And if you have hormone dysfunction, you have brain dysfunction. So I mean, it's just really just that simple. Nickey, do you want to go ahead and share your thoughts on the matter as well?
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. And I think if somebody wants some quick trips or tips to kind of start your journey to get away from anxiety, like you were saying, I feel anxiety, and it's really to notice how you're feeling. So I think when you said the 3 T's and then toxins, traumas, and thoughts, if you think about all the traumas that happen, we think of big T trauma and little T trauma, where your big T trauma is you had an accident, you had a really bad health issue, sexual violence. But then also little T trauma is when you go through the day and I had a friend the other day that had a medical situation, and she was really uncomfortable, and they didn't do anything to help her. And it ended up being a little bit, she wasn't sure how that kind of could happen. Like, they didn't take care of her very, very well. Sometimes, I don't want to go into it a lot, it's her story, but it's one of those things, it's a little T trauma that you have to work through. But if we don't work through them and keep them in your body, your thoughts now create those feelings, which create that anxiety. And so that's why you feel the anxiety in your body, because your thoughts keep sending down those feelings. And so,
right?
yep.
The signals. Yeah.
Yeah, the signals. And so it just kind of stays on that loop. But so if you're in anxiety, I think we talked about meditation, Jamie mentioned that. It's start a practice of, even if it's 1 minute at a time, that you sit in meditation and sit in quiet, and you can do a breathing exercise where you do like a flagpole breathing, where it's 4, 4, 4, in for 4, hold for 4, and out for 4. Do that about 3 times, but then count to 10. And so you're grounding yourself, and then you're calming your system down. So we have to calm our system down, and you have to do that every day, because we live life. So every day things happen and we feel this way. And so if you start with that meditation, but then also knowing that you get to choose your thoughts is the most powerful thing that anybody could be taught, but we are not taught that really anywhere, that your power of thought is really your control. And that's all about you. You don't have to, nobody else gets to control that. There's no thought police. So you can put good thoughts in your head that actually create good feelings in your body, because you can't see your thoughts. So our thoughts are racing around 100 miles a minute all day. You can't see that, but you know what your body feels like. So if your body's tight and heavy and pressurized and it's anxious, then you know you're thinking thoughts that are creating that. So you can change your thoughts. And so a good practice that I do is, we have guiding life feelings. And so, kind of like Jodi, you were saying, you got put into anxiety, you're not in alignment. So it's like you pick 3 feelings that you want to feel. So it's simple, not easy, but simple. And then you kind of work towards that. And every day when you're feeling out of alignment, or you feel that anxiousness, it's like, oh, wait, what did I actually want to feel? I want to feel joy. What's a thought that makes me feel joy? And so you just do that practice over and over and over again in life when everything's coming at you. And then you start to master it, and it gets easier. In the beginning, it is tricky. And it's a practice that you have to commit to. But it's a way to start.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
I think people have difficulty mastering their thoughts, because they're thinking, if they worry about something, they're preparing themselves for the pain of it. And so they create the anxiety in anticipation of something that may never happen.
Yep.
But how do you get out of the belief that anticipating something bad is going to prepare you for it? Because, you look at, really, that's kind of the mindset that everybody is living under right now. There's either anxiety that you're going to experience some act of violence against someone, or some act that's going to either embarrass or humiliate you, or you're anticipating there's going to be some illness coming your way. I mean, it's all of these negatives that we're being fed every day, whether it's news media or on our cell phones or whatever the case is. We're always being told of the worst things. And so the thought is, I have to prepare myself for this awful thing that may happen to me. And that becomes a mindset that people stay in, which is creating anxiety. I think Minister Plum asked, what is anxiety and stress? Well, it's that constant feeling of nervousness and unease in anticipation of something bad going to happen. Now, the bad thing may never happen, but you're living as if it is happening, and you're actually experiencing it as if it is happening. So how do you get out of that habit?
Or even the unknown of something happening.
Yes.
It's just like not having control of what's going to happen next.
Yes. and believing you
think I
don't
can-
have control, and therefore
Yeah.
living in fear and anxiety.
I think I can speak to that just a little bit. You know,
Please.
one of the things that I believe is one of the main causes of anxiety is what we call ants. And that's a term that's been given by Dr. Daniel Amen.
Yeah.
And ants are automatic negative thoughts. And a lot of people don't even know that is a thing, but automatic negative thoughts get into our brain all day long. And there's different types of automatic negative thoughts. So he's broken them down into all these different types. And the one that you're referring to would be the fortune telling automatic negative thought. You're thinking ahead into the future. You're thinking that everything's going to happen bad. You're thinking that the world is kind of doom and gloom. And one of the ways to decrease your anxiety is to know that automatic negative thoughts happen to everyone, and that we can address them and expel them, basically kill the ants. And so if you look at ants, as I try to refer to it as like a nasty roommate or annoying roommate. Okay. They're not part of your being. Your roommate is not part of who you are, but it's with you. Your roommate is with you, but you can choose to believe your roommate or choose not to believe your roommate. Right. And so you have the thoughts, you have the roommate, but you don't have to believe it. And so then you question, is that really true? Is that thought that I'm having really a true thing? And the majority of the time, the answer is going to be no, or at least partially no. And then what can you say to yourself to change that thought into something that's going to grow into happiness, into joy, into positivity? And so you have to address those ants, and you have to address them and know that they're there, and then realize that you don't have to believe it.
Well, the power of knowing that because I trained under Dr. John DeMartini, who's a international, world-renowned, human behaviorist. And you can either be a victim of your past or the master of your destiny. And really, that's what it's all about. So when you realize that you have complete control. Oh, and I just saw the time, it's 8:37, so we're going to have to go to commercial. So I'm going to interrupt myself. But think about this while we're at commercial. You have complete control over everything in your life. You choose whether or not you hand over your power to someone or not. So think about that. Don't go away. We're going to be right back. We have some cool commercials that I want to talk about. The first one is actually talks about reclaiming your health and, taking back that control. So it's my story. Here we go. Hi, I'm Jodi Suson with Suson Essentials. I started Suson Essentials in 2015 because of a personal health journey. I was over-medicated and put on 19 different medications. And yes, I reversed all my chronic diseases using plant and energy-based healing. It was amazing. At Suson Essentials, we support both consumers and businesses, and we do that with helping your employees or yourself with a food as medicine mindset. How Suson Essentials supports businesses and consumers is we teach people about a food as medicine mindset. So we support people on how to support their own immune system, how to support their brain health, how to support their emotional well-being. And we do that all with plant and an energy-based healing. Okay, so this next commercial is every single host that we have on the Female Solution. There we go.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Okay, so last commercial for this segment is Quick, and Quick is a new e-commerce site that will be the Amazon alternative. We are in beta test, and basically you get paid when you refer the products that you buy. This is not an MLM. This is just buying stuff, sharing it, and getting paid.
Welcome to Quick Click, where customers can buy, share, and earn. Meet Sam. Sam owns an e-commerce business that sells athletic shoes and running gear. Sam wants to increase her sales without increasing marketing spend, so she decides to list her products on Quick Click. On Quick Click, her loyal customers can get paid for sharing her products with their friends. Sam uploads her products to the marketplace, just like she would on Amazon or Shopify. Meet Laura. Laura is in the market for a new pair of shoes and comes across Sam's brand on the Quick Click marketplace. Laura is able to purchase the shoes and check out like she would on any other e-commerce site. After purchasing, Laura receives a unique Quick link that she can share with friends to begin earning Quick Cash. Her friend Jessica opens Laura's Quick link on her phone and purchases the pair of shoes. Because Jessica purchases using Laura's Quick link, Laura receives Quick Cash in her account. After purchasing, Jessica can now share her own Quick link and begin earning Quick Cash as well. But Quick Click is more than just your typical referral or affiliate platform. Quick Click rewards customers for sales they directly and indirectly influence. So, for every sale Jessica's new Quick link makes, Laura will earn additional Quick Cash as well, making the potential for earning exponential. Laura and Jessica can transfer their Quick Cash balance to their bank account at any time, or can even use Quick Cash to make additional purchases in the app. Meanwhile, Sam can just watch as the sales roll in. Best of all, she doesn't have to worry about costs, since she is only spending marketing dollars when actual purchases are made. Start buying, sharing, and earning today at quickclick.com.
All right, we are back. And, you know, there's something I would like for us to talk about. And, you know, someone very close to me shared with me the other day about betrayal from his parent as a child.
Betrayal.
By a parent.
Subject, yeah.
And a lot of people, this is not uncommon. And so that betrayal turns into, I'm trying, especially from a parent, at least in this case, turned into, I'm trying to make everyone happy. People pleasing. Which, like, I don't know anything that ages you more than people pleasing. Right?
That means you're not attending to your own needs. You're putting other people first, even when it hurts you. And it's almost like saying, I'm not worthy, or I'm not as worthy as other people. That's what you're telling yourself when you do that.
Yeah, I went into tears when I heard it. I mean, I just started crying because as being an intuitive and an empath, I went into that person's state at that point of time in the 7th grade. And I felt that person's pain, like the heartbreak of being betrayed by his parent. And so, so who wants to go? Jamie, would you like to go first on this? Because I'm hearing you have something you might want to share.
Well, I mean, I just think from the people pleasing standpoint, I mean, first of all, as far as Nickey would say, I think that could be a big T in his life. That's probably a big T. And it probably is going to change the trajectory unless someone, you know, interjects and helps that person. So going back to, you know, how can we help people when they're young, not have to take such a long journey? You know, it'd be somebody interjecting at the 7th grade level and saying, that was painful. That's terrible. I am so sorry. You know, but let's not let this transform you into feeling like you have to please everyone. Let's not make this about, making everybody your friend, doing anything anybody asks you to do. And having teenagers, I work through that actually quite a bit. And, and it doesn't mean because they've had any specific trauma, but it's just that peer pressure situation. And when do you say no to things? And what if they don't like me? I mean, that's such a normal stage of being a teenager anyways. And some of us carry it long into adulthood. And some of us are able to realize that it doesn't serve us at all. And and we need to do and I think because it happens so much in the teenage years, because we don't know who we are yet. And we're still trying to figure out who we are, that we're very vulnerable to what other people want us to do.
Nickey? Okay, first of all, let me just, before I go to Nickey, that is so spot on. Sorry, I'm trying to capture everybody's, so spot on, Jamie. And, I know my father, while not perfect, was an amazing soul. And he taught me to be empowered, like at a young age. And as a result of his guidance and my mom's guidance, my mom was a huge, force and still is in my life, only from Updale. But my dad, he had a friend, a colleague, and his daughter was raped. And it was because that person didn't check the backseat of her car or underneath her car before she got into it. And this is like in the 70s. And so he taught me, check the backseat of your car before you get into it. Check underneath the car before you get into it. I want you to be aware of your surroundings, be empowered. Do not, don't be, following people. You can do what you want. He never took a sip of alcohol the entire time that he was alive. He lived to 83. And then the other thing is, although he didn't always want to hear me, he did teach me to use my voice. Rapid speed. You'd answer the phone. What's up, Joe? Talk fast. So the thing is that your parents aren't perfect, and if you are a parent, you're not perfect. Spoiler. Right. And love them anyway. Right. Yeah. Find the gift. Like if they did something that was not so hot, find the gift. What's the gift? My father taught me, or answered the phone literally almost every single time. What's up, Jodi? Talk fast.
So you had to get to the point.
Right. So I became very articulate very fast from as a child. And he did that to every single child. So all the 5 Susons are high D's, right? So get to the point. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I'll wait till Nickey was about to say something. Then
go ahead, Nickey. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just think it's interesting how, like, generationally, right, as we evolve as humans and we get parents and then your children, you learn from each other. And so then you do a little bit different. And we keep doing that to where now we're having the conversations with the kids. Like Jamie's having her conversation with the kids to say, you're not fully developed yet. Let's feel through this situation. And that's what it comes back down to, is we don't let ourselves feel. And I think, I can't remember what scientist it says, but like feelings pass through your body within 90 seconds.
Wow.
Wow.
90 seconds, you guys. But the problem is the first 5 seconds, it's so uncomfortable that we stop it and stuff it down. So every single feeling, it gets more uncomfortable and more uncomfortable. And I use the feelings wheel. Haven't been a big feeler. I'm just exploring those over the last couple of years. So I use this feelings wheel. Like, how do I feel right now? Because I don't have the language for feelings. And, Brene Brown's book, Atlas of the Heart, showing kind of the same thing of we all don't have that language. So we can't say, I feel excited right now, or I feel inadequate. And if I say I feel inadequate, I'm trying to like go into the boardroom, but yet I'm saying I feel inadequate. Now they're going to pounce on me. So I'm not allowed to have those feelings. So when we're with the kids, it's like, let them have their feelings and really like honor them in the moment. And as parents, we can't jump in their box and fix it. Just let them feel it. So that way the next generation will have the conversations and better. So that way it's kind of like, yeah, as a parent, I'm a parent. I have a 20-year-old daughter. She's been my first client when she was 6. Thank God for Marcus Buckingham. Really understanding, do not focus on the bad grades. You have one bad grade. Like, why are you focusing on the bad grade? She's amazing, but you focus on that one bad thing because she's not perfect now. And so it's just, you know, really honing into that of getting language around feelings and then letting all of us have it. Like, I have a different feeling than you at the moment in the same experience. And I can honor that. I think it goes back to like with the anxiety and the thoughts and the feelings, we have to have a vision for our life. So that way we know, like, we can experience that, right? We can experience the vision. And then we know what we're working towards. Like when you say all the news is feeding us all this bad stuff, since we don't have a vision we're anchored into, and we don't know what we desire, that stuff is easily just, we keep focusing on it. That's where our focus and attention stays because we don't have our own dream and our own desires we're walking towards.
Nickey, I want to pause you for one moment and have you go right back. Okay. I want you to expand, because this is a big thing for me, about the TV and the news.
Yeah.
I stopped watching the news when I became disabled in 2013. And it's only from time to time when spirit calls on me to hear what's going on, because there's an action step that I have to take, that I ever turn on the news. Can you expand upon how that contributes to anxiety and stress?
Well, they sell that. You staying at low levels creates, like they say, how corporate, you know, feeds on imposter syndrome. My coach says there's not really imposter syndrome. That's not even a thing. That's just your low level thoughts that you can change. But we as a society, we feed on people having low level thoughts, because then you can stay in our control. When we start to have dreams and desires, we're like, we can do this. Oh my gosh, I can go be a coach. Like for me, an example, I decided I wanted to be a coach because I wanted to be a better leader at work. And I wanted to make sure I took care of my team always, and that I did everything in my power to make sure their career was amazing. Full stop with my daughter, with my teams as well. And so that's why I did it. But then all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, I could really change people's lives. Like, I can. But I had to like dig deep in those beliefs, because everybody around me was like, that's Nickey, stop. That's too much. We don't want that. And in my mind, I was like, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we all want to feel better? Like, and I have had a lot of low self-worth in my life that I've had to work through. And so it was just, it's the repetition that, so when you're paying attention to the low level thoughts, you just stay in it and you don't know any better, because everybody else is having the conversation. So you're in community, right? We want to be in community. We're spiritual beings that need to be in connection and community with each other. So all of a sudden now you think different and you're going to get kicked out of the tribe. Now, then you're alone and it feels awful. So it feels good, but it feels awful. So then you got to reconcile that, and you got to like anchor into that authenticity and do the work. So
I want to talk about the community and the low level thoughts and how you're either vibrating high or, you know, in the dumps. And I want to actually give people a situation that happened. I want to give you a couple of solutions. Okay. And some are free, right? So my husband and I were staying in a hotel for a couple of months while we had just moved to Georgia, and we hadn't found our home. And so actually we still haven't found our home. So we moved into an apartment, right? And got a little, found some new furniture. But what happened was, And this is really important. And I'm so grateful that it happened to me, because God does this for me. God brings me back and gives me a small taste of what I had over the 50 years before I reclaimed my health. So this hotel had slivers for windows, and the drapes were so heavy, no light came in. And so I really didn't, I'm in Georgia, for goodness sakes, right? Lots of sunshine, at least most of the time. We had snow the other day. Don't ask me about that. So, so confusing. After being there, I went into a depression. I had anxiety. I actually started having panic attacks all over again. Why? I'm isolated. Okay. I'm in the dark. I'm not surrounded by things that I believe to bring joy and harmony to my life. Okay. So we know that this is happening all over the world today, especially the last 2 years. And I want to give a few tips. Number one, walk out the front door. Go for a walk. I don't care if it's cold. Don't make an excuse like I did. Although we did go hiking a lot. Don't get me wrong. We did. We went hiking a lot. The other thing is go to YouTube. And on YouTube, there's free music. And the free music, write this down, is 520H, and it's Hertz, HZ. That free music is the frequency of love, the frequency of Jesus, the frequency of God. Okay. So, and if frequency of God, if you don't follow Jesus, follow God, or whatever higher source that you believe. It is the frequency of love. So 528 Hertz, you can play that for free. It will shift your energy. It will help you vibrate high. And if the other number is 432 Hertz, 432. And I'll put these in the thread in a minute. And the 432 causes harmony in the frontal lobe of the brain. Okay. So these are just simple things. And then, of course, I use essential oils. So if you don't have oils, go outside and get that plant. Juniper berry plants we have a lot of them out here. Smell the plant. Okay. Smell the leaves. Smell nature. Hug a flippin' tree. I know that sounds silly. Hug a tree. The energy of the tree is amazing. If I'm feeling crappy, I go into the energy of the tree.
Yeah.
Because it's rooted.
Yeah.
It roots you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So who wants to go next? Give your top 3 tips for grounding or bringing joy into your life. Maybe it costs some money, maybe it doesn't. Go for it. Naima, you want to give your top 3? Then we'll go to Jamie, then to Nickey. How about that?
Well, Nickey said something that was very key about having a vision of what you want things to be. Mm-hmm. In the absence of a positive, there's a negative. So you have to go back to your childhood when you had an imagination and imagine things the way you would like them to be. Imagine a world the way you'd like it to be, where the people who you want to love you, where you are considered beautiful and you feel beautiful, where you are feeling joy. Imagine it, because your mind is the most powerful tool you have. So number one, use that childhood imagination to create in your mind the reality that you need to feel, because the next thing is that creates the vibration. And we're actually creating with vibration. So if you can create the vision and then create the feeling that comes with the vision, then the next thing is to believe that this is the reality that will manifest, because that truly is how things are created. We've just been miscreating because we've been doing it the opposite way. We've been worrying about the things we don't want to happen, and then feeling the feeling from things we don't want to happen, and then we're manifesting the things that we don't want to happen. So we have to do that in reverse. Envision the thing that you do want, feel how it feels when you have that thing that you want, and then believe it will manifest. Those are my 3 things.
Well, yeah, and that's so spot on, by the way. I will just say, and Zelda is saying, really enjoying the conversation. Can you please explain that again about feelings pass through the body in 90 seconds. That was you, Nickey, right?
Yeah. So I can't remember the scientist that I read in the book, but it says that basically you feel a feeling and it passes within 90 seconds if you allow it to. So when you're in your body, but we try to control how we feel. We can't control how we feel. We can only control how we think.
And
so we're doing it backwards. So so it was kind of like the thought loop. You reverse engineer the thought loop is what you're saying. Like, because you're getting this result. So you have this result in life. I don't want this result anymore. I'm going to reverse engineer it. And I'm going to figure out, well, what's the behavior that causes the result? Okay, well, a feeling causes behavior. So what feeling am I feeling? Okay, at the end of the day, it's the thought that causes your feeling. So you back up and say, okay, what thought did I just think that created that? Oh, I'm not good enough to be in this space. They don't like me. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. And then so your thought loop just like starts, and what happens, that thought pushes down, gives you a feeling. And when you feel that feeling, it pushes back in your thought and says, give me another memory that says I'm not good enough.
Right.
So it says, well, remember that one time when you were 6 and your mom did this, and oh my God. And so then it creates another bad feeling.
Yes.
So that's one more feeling. So that's how your feelings are like a 90-second where you can actually stop it and say, okay, what am I thinking right now? Just by you stopping and pausing and asking yourself, what am I thinking right now? That's going to stop the 90 seconds, but that 90 seconds. So you just had like 180 feelings and you can't control anything. And so your day is just spent spiraling. And even though we don't know it, we're so used to it because we've never been able to stop and pause.
Right.
Yeah. So Nickey, what I do, and people can do this, okay? And I'm just going to demonstrate when we're going to go to commercial, and then Jamie, we're coming back to you, okay? So what people can do is bring in God. Okay, so pause, breathe in, bring in God, and say, source, spirit, guides, please release these negative feelings, transmute them up to source, and replace with God's divine white light. Okay, so you can release the negative feelings up to God. They no longer serve me, and replace those feelings with God's divine white light, which is pure love. So, and let that flood of God's energy flow on your body. Yeah. So with that, we're going to go to a quick commercial. Jamie, we're coming back with your top 3. And let's see here. Okay, so we'll do this one. The females.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Have another 2 callers. The one is 773-487, and I'm going to take a quick call now. I just want to say, I see you've been waiting for a while. I want to make sure that you understand that if you're asking a question that's not related to the topic, we're just going to go forward, and then we're going to go back to Jamie. So we're really asking our callers to stick to the topic, which is, what are the interferences that bring anxiety into your life? So let me do that for you now. sorry, there's too many. Here we go. So 773-487. Hello, welcome to the show. And who's calling?
Good morning, ladies. This is Kofi James.
Hi, Kofi. And how are you today?
I am blessed. I'm blessed. You guys can also go to my YouTube page, Kofi James, and check out my 200 videos that I've made the last 15
this
years.
is not your time for an advertisement. So what is your question for Jamie, Nickey, or Naima, or myself?
You know, anxiety, it's not a question, it's an installment. You know, we talk about God, energy, and it's all really electricity. We all are like outlets.
Correct.
You know, and anxiety comes in when you're not, you have a goal to do something and you're not actually doing anything to progress to that, to the complete, what you want to complete. I've completed every journey, everything in my life. I'm clear. I feel like I have done my purpose on this planet, really. And now what I'm doing now is teaching what I've learned, how to complete your journey on this earth, because we race to get here.
So what is your question for, what is your question for Jamie, Nickey, Naima, or myself? Do you have a question?
What, you know, a lot of people out here, we're talking metaphysical, we're getting really deep. I mean, we're getting scientific, you know, we're getting into the mind, we're getting into the soul, we're getting into all that, and that's great. My question is, where is all this going to take, maybe you, but where is this going to lead us and take us? Or we're just going to just recycle this over and over and over again, and then our children are going to get our age, and guess what they're going to be talking about? The same thing. Where are we taking all of this metaphysical knowledge that we're teaching, that we're learning, that we're talking about? Where is it just for self-healing? Or is it a collective issue where we're taking it someplace? That's my question. And I ask everybody, I talk to Mama D, I talk to everybody. Where are we taking where is the end road? Where are we taking all of this
information? Where are we taking this? Okay, so go ahead. Jamie, where do you think we're taking this? Or Nickey, where do you think that we're taking all this information?
I think it starts with the individual, and then the individual can share it and radiate it, and you know, share your piece with others, and then they can start their journey.
I agree with that. And then it becomes a collective. So when we talk about generations, if we think about 100 years ago, we are having a different conversation than they were 100 years ago. And if we start this now, we're starting to have these conversations with our kids at such a young age, and they're having this, then it becomes a collective that in 100 years, they'll have been having a completely different conversation again, right? And so it's the evolution of always getting better, and they'll have new things to talk about and new things to work through. And that's how I believe, as long as we do our part today, they will be able to have a different conversation in 100 years. But if we don't do our part today individually, and we don't do the self-work individually today, then the collective won't be able to have a different conversation if we don't do it. That's where I think it's going.
I'm totally with you. And I feel that, and Naima's back. Thank you. You know, we have technology issues from time to time.
Mercury retrograde.
Yeah, right.
Just that way.
So I agree. So what we're doing, so the people here can work on the present. As an energy healer, I can work on past lives, and I can work on all the generations from the past to clear all of that mucky muck up and get rid of it and give it to God, so that then you can easier, you know, release it in the present, and it's not brought forward to the next generation.
Yeah. Yes, I think also what we're doing is elevating thought, elevating consciousness, elevating awareness, so that we understand this universe is we are mind, body, and spirit, and above all, we are spirit. And so we can change the way we teach our upcoming generations. Our parents, a lot of things they didn't know, their parents didn't know. A lot of limited knowledge, a lot of very rigid religion-based concepts that were very judgmental and condemning, which is why so many of us have anxiety, because we were raised by parents who believed that negative judgment and criticism was a way to motivate us to try harder. And so many of us have these negative thoughts, which are now ants, automatic negative thoughts, because they've been implanted by parents who didn't know that that is not what you do to motivate a child. So we're learning better, and we're learning higher concepts, and therefore we're implanting different things in our children, and that will help them to manifest the world we want to live in, as opposed to them just trying to adjust to the mess we've made for them. They can actually create something different. And I think that's where this is going. It's going to a creation of the better world we would like to live in.
I agree with you. And I was showing that screen on my Podbean, which is, simulcast on Pandora and all these other places, because Nickey, you have a fan. Dana Kaplan.
Yeah.
She says, yes, Nickey. And then she says, wow, Nickey, you're such a compassionate leader. And she's got hands up. And
Dana's the most amazing cheerleader. We love her.
And Tony Rice is speaking up here. She, I can't see if it's a man or a woman. And Tony, so great conversation. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Dana, for piping in. We're really excited that you guys are all here and sharing in the joy and in the dialogue. We also have on LinkedIn Deborah Kosis, Brett Penninger, Andrew Calhoun, and Gary Pollock, and John Hogland, and Michael Leroy. I've known Michael since I was a baby.
Wow.
Thank you all for listening in. If you have anything you want to contribute, we're here. Please feel free to call into the show. I will put the banner up so you have the number to call. But it is, get down your paper and pen, 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak. And I do have one more caller here. It's 269-369. So we're going to bring you on to the show. And we are looking for questions. And you're, like that. Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning. Hi, Sister Naima and the other sisters on the show. Good morning. This is Joseph Chopin, the producer of the Harold Washington movie. I haven't called in a long time, but I've been listening to the show this morning. It sounds like a fantastic subject.
Thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to call, and Minister Plump called me this morning and told me to call on the show. I think the subject is fantastic. I have been producing the movie, and I recently had a daughter. And in the process of me taking on this very large task of producing a major film with major actors, Denzel Washington and all these big people for the Harold Washington movie, I found that I've had a child in the middle of it, and it's been very stressful. And in that process, I've been going through a lot of changes. And, obviously when you bring a child into the world, it creates, it's different. It's, you're not the same as when you're single and free and moving around and don't have diapers to change or anything like that. And I think what's different about me is that I'm a single father. And, there's a lot of single dads out there, but I'm dealing with a lot of the stress of taking care of a new baby, infant child, and then also trying to continue my efforts in producing this fantastic project. And the stress is falling on me, and I'm beginning. I don't know if I'm feeling anxiety or if I don't know what anxiety feels like, but I'm getting more pains in my neck. I'm getting more deep, those little sharp pains in your lower back where you can't get up in the morning. And I don't know exactly what to do. I'm trying to think positive. Obviously, I'm doing my best to, keep my prayers up. And it's becoming more difficult. Also, I'm seeing the world in a different way. I'm a movie maker. I watch movies and I produce movies. I produce documentaries. But when I'm looking at the world, I'm looking at people differently. I'm seeing them as like, where is this world going? I don't know where we're going. It's especially Black people, because I'm a member of the Black race. I'm African American. I grew up in this country, and I'm also trying to understand where our place is in this world, and where if this anxiety is, if the anxiety of having a child and producing a movie at the same time has anything to do with me being Black in this particular part of myself in this world. How can I get over this feeling and overcome and continue to be successful?
So let me pipe in here and share. So number one, you're spiritually awakening. I'll tell you that. Number two, I'm an intuitive. So number two, what they're telling me is that you need to breathe. So they're saying you're holding your breath, which is causing all the anxiety that's coming up. So what they want you to do is practice breathing in and breathing out. And I'll let Nickey and Jamie take you through that process. Number three, I was trying to take notes. The movie is part of your spiritual awakening, because now you're having to look through life through a different lens. And they're saying, give me a minute. They said it's not about your skin color. It's not about you being a Black man or an African American. They're saying it's about you connecting with humanity, about being a human, and that erasing the definitions associated with skin color. They want you to focus on humanity and have people look at souls, not at skin color. They want you to see humans, and they want you to see the love that can be present and that is present in most of the people that are walking the earth, and start avoiding giving away those people, not giving way to the toxicity that wants to come in and disrupt what you're trying to do. They say stay laser focused on what you can control, stay laser focused on your mission, and remember to breathe. Breathe, 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 breathe. We'll keep on saying, breathe, 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 breathe. So that's what they're doing.
Thank you.
Nickey, do you want to talk about the breath?
Yeah, I can talk about the breath. So that's exactly what I was feeling too, is it feels like you're not breathing. And, you know, our Apple Watches go off. Everybody says, oh, my Apple Watch goes off and I'm alive, so I must be breathing. We're breathing from your chest. Jamie, you can give me the sympathetic and parasympathetic, right? But it's really, you have to, and putting your hand on your heart, because your mind doesn't know. Naima said this earlier, your mind doesn't know. You can create the vision. And so your body just feels that. So every time you do it, you put your hand on your heart. And I do 4-7-8 breathing, or I do 4-4-4 breathing. So whatever you prefer, but it's you breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 7, and then breathe out with sound for 8. Put your tongue on the top of your roof, the roof of your mouth, and make a sound.
Can I suggest the humming sound? Humming is healing.
Like a humming sound. You put your tongue on the top of your roof.
Okay, like that.
And you're going to breathe out for 8.
Okay, I understand.
And you're going to want to do that for like 60 seconds. But here's the key. You're not going to remember this. And so what you do is, we call it honoring your breathing breaks. So you set breathing breaks on your phone at least 4 times a day. And when those go off, you need to stop whatever you're doing and take your breathing break and do this for 60 seconds. Because what will happen is if you do it normally in the middle of the day, like you can do a meditation in the morning and gratitude at night, but then for 15 hours, you're taking care of your new baby. You're having this massive project that's going to move mountains. There's a whole lot of not breathing in there. So you need to breathe all day, every day, and honor it. So that way, when you come up to the point where you feel like something heavy is coming up, you can naturally go into that breath and your body says, oh, I know what to do here. I need to calm down. I'm safe, right? Because you're creating safety in your body when you're breathing. And so depending on what's happening right now with your new baby, if you're having a spiritual awakening, your mind might be saying your mind is your zone of familiarity and its only job is to keep you safe. So when you're trying new things and you're exploring new things, you're getting outside of your zone of familiarity and it's trying to just bring you back to staying the same. So you're stretching yourself and it's like trying to work against you. So that's why when you're breathing, it keeps you in a safety space to grow. And so you're constantly, we're going to evolve regardless. So that's what a lot of times our pain is we're trying to grow, but yet our mind wants to keep us safe. So when you do that breathing, that's where you create that safety all day, every day. So when really like big things come up, your body already knows what to do and it's acclimated and you can get back in it.
Yeah.
So you're not, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I found myself waking up not wanting to do my work because, you know, I have to, it's like if my mind only wants me to do one thing or the other. And it's funny, before my child was born, I was able to multitask. I felt like I was multitasking everything. I felt like I can do 100 things in a day, but now it feels like I can only do one thing at a time. And it's been the most difficult for me. And it's funny, you said breathing. I have not, you're right. I don't feel like I'm taking enough time to meditate or to think about, myself, or to kind of get back into that focused mind state. It's been very, very difficult for me.
So I can get that. How do I want to say that, you know, first of all, the energy has been very tough in this world lately, especially the last 2 years, but the last 2 months, the energy is shifting in the universe. So that's on top of whatever else you got going on. So
and the other,
go ahead.
The other thing I would recommend is your beliefs are changing. When you have a baby, your beliefs change, and you need to catch your beliefs up with what's actually happening in reality. So like you were saying, you were doing 100 things a day and now you're only doing one. So you have to believe that it's safe to slow down.
Thank you.
You're going to do that massive project and you're going to be a great father. Both. But you have to create that belief that it's safe to slow down so you can be great at both.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing, Nickey, to have safety around. Sorry, hold on. Let me do that. To have safety about slowing down. I'm a multitasker. I am a master manifester. So what I'm going to suggest that people who are listening do, because this is what I'm doing now. If you were a multitasker and getting all these things done at the same time, or just an overproducer like I was, manifest that you get other people to help you achieve whatever your goal is. Not because you have to get them to buy in. They're already bought in because they share the vision. So you attract those people that share the vision and they want to do what you're doing, you know, and so they want to be part of the mission. And then you can offload some of that work because they're getting joy out of doing those things too.
Right. There's a movie also,
I understand.
Fatherhood, by Kevin Hart.
We have 4 women giving you advice right now. Sorry, we're
it.
gonna fight to advise you.
You saw the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. I think that any single father, I think that would be inspirational, because his wife died right after giving birth, and single father trying to take care of an infant. So I think women are used to those challenges of trying to multitask and trying to return to their schedule after a baby and then realizing it's impossible. And sometimes we go through feelings of anxiety or feelings of failure, because it seems like we can't get ourselves organized after this baby comes. So, when men experience that, yeah, it's the same kind of feeling of, oh, I'm not doing this right. I'm incompetent. But, as was said, things shift with a child, because the child becomes the focus rather than all these other things you think you need to do. And you need to understand you don't have to do all those things. Just be there for the child. And it's okay if you don't get 100 things done. It's not necessary in order for you to be successful. Just go with the flow. Make sure that there is peace and calm in the environment of your child, because if you're under anxiety, children are very sensitive. They can feel anxiety. So sometimes if your child is crying a lot, it's because they're picking up on your anxiety, and they're reflecting that, because they're feeling your nervousness, they're feeling your stress, and that's their response. They're feeling your feelings. So you want to, as was said, take those breathing breaks and create a calm atmosphere in yourself. And that's what you'll be projecting to your child. And that will keep your child calm. And don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so judgmental. We tend to be very judgmental, especially after you have a child. And you start evaluating everything about yourself. And a lot of times we start really criticizing ourselves. So don't be so hard on yourself. And just love your child. And don't worry about being perfect, because it's okay. And your child will understand that people make mistakes, and it's all right. They'll feel the love more than anything, and that's the most important thing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And when you notice stuff about you, notice it from the non-judgmental observer, like you're saying, no judgments. And so think about it as, I'm just collecting data so I can do something better if I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so that way it takes that pressure off. Oh my God, I got to be perfect for my baby. If I'm not perfect for my baby, they're going to grow up and it's going to be rough. And so you're fighting all of that societal thoughts and talk, that it's really, you want to be able to enjoy being a parent at every stage. And it's really just kind of, you don't want to bypass. I was a single mom, and I bypassed so many stages because I wanted to make sure she was okay and didn't become me or a victim of my choices. And I had a whole lot of hoopla going on up in there. But it was, once I became, this is just data, so I can choose to be better, that took a lot of pressure off how I was showing up every day.
Right. And spend a lot of time with your child, even if you take them on the set with you while you're working, whatever.
Yep.
I've read a lot of people. I think I was just reading the account of Jada Pinkett Smith was talking about, she took her children to work with her when she was working on films. It's okay, because they just want to be with you. And that way you don't have regret later on that the nanny or the maid or somebody raised your child and you missed some major things like their first words or, different things that you really wanted to be there for. So, I used to take my child with me to work, to meetings and everything,
Yeah, that's what I've been having to do. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not interrupting. I was on right before the pandemic, which that has also affected tremendously, I think everyone's health and anxiety. But I was at dinner with Denzel Washington, handing him the movie script, and I had felt like I had made it right at the end of 2019, around November, December. And then boom, 2020, I found out that I'm a father, and and then everything changed. When the pandemic came in, it just completely shifted my entire view. and now it's like baby, work is like secondary or on a third level, and she needs everything. And you know, with me being on my own doing it, it's even more difficult because, you know, you got to find diapers. You know, there was times that, you know, with the pandemic, places weren't accepting people to get diapers, or, you know, I live in a small community just right outside Chicago, so it was a little bit more difficult for me, especially with how I trade in my business, and trying to find support. And I hope I didn't misconstrue anything when I live in a small community that is mainly white, and so when I said when I mentioned the Black part, you know, producing a film of this capacity and realizing that when I say that I'm seeing the world differently, because politics are right in my face too. Mm-hmm. When it comes to who gives what money to who, how do you get $20 million or $60 million to make a movie, and the anxiety of feeling that pressure of going to a rich businessman who could potentially, and then they say, well, are you know, you have this baby in your hand, and then you got the anxiety, which is anxiety, and then you have the anxiety of trying to ask mostly rich white people for money for a movie, and then you go to some wealthier blacks. I'm sorry. You go to some wealthier blacks, and it's difficult too. So it's hard not to see race as a factor as well. So I didn't want to misconstrue the race. But I just wanted.
Do you have a vision?
I wonder too if you should. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Jamie.
I think we're going to say the same thing, right?
What is
the thought behind that? Yeah. What are the negative thoughts that you're telling yourself behind those things, right? That you have to go to someone rich, that you have to go to someone with a lot more money than you. What are those negative thoughts that you're telling yourself? Maybe that you're not enough, maybe that you need to be reliant on someone else. All of those things can be addressed in a different way, to make yourself to empower yourself more, instead of having those thoughts that are maybe a little bit more depleting, right? So I think at least what I'm feeling from you, or what I'm hearing from you, is that some of those things are negative thinking, automatic negative thoughts that are depleting thoughts for you.
Right. And it's tough. It's because when you work on a project of like this, and you have to find money in a way that is efficient to produce the project, and then you also have to work. You know, it's difficult. It's just difficult. It's a difficult task to not mix what you're spending money on for your personal life with taking care of your child, and because people say, oh well, he's just trying to spend money on his this and this and that, when really, you know, money takes care of everything. But when you speak about the money to produce something of this capacity, a movie that goes out to the entire world while you have a child, while you're trying to take care of a child, which most people have children, but when you're trying to project this movie out to the entire world, getting it on every screen in the entire world, it becomes.
What's your first name again? What's your first name again?
There's distribution. There's politics. There's who sees what you know. What message goes out to the people? What type of message are you sending to the people? All of that comes into, and then when you have a controversial figure like Harold Washington and a baby crying in the background, it just becomes, you start to think about race. You'd be like, man, is it because I'm Black? Mm-hmm. Is that why it automatically comes in, and that thought alone causes anxiety.
Hold on. It's Raymond, right?
Yeah.
Raymond?
No, my name is Joseph Chopin.
Joseph, sorry. So Joseph, let me ask you a question. Have you read or listened to the book, and I prefer you listen to it, the book, The Secret?
I have.
Great.
A long time ago.
Listen to it again. And here's my direction to you. Get into the bathtub. And I want you to put in some Epsom salt if you have some essential oils. And then I want you to listen to the book, The Secret, on audio. And what you want to hear, listen for this, the how is not your responsibility. You just have to know the what. The universe will provide the how. Don't worry and do not sweat the small stuff. That's not your job.
Right.
So I was going to say, this is why the vision is so important. So you can anchor into your end vision. It's the end when you're in the movie theater, in the premiere, watching it on screen,
Right.
celebrating with
Visualize
everybody that you guys are. This is a milestone, right? You're celebrating that milestone and you create that vision. And then that's the beginning of it. And then when your mind starts to creep in, you need to have belief work where you're believing that people believe in this project. These guys are going to hand you money because they believe in this project, right? And so it's safe to receive money from white people and Black people.
Absolutely.
It's safe. It's safe to do this movie. I believe this movie is powerful. And so you change your belief.
Right.
And then while you're working on your beliefs, you're going to work on your beliefs all morning. And then you do your thought loop, which is the 7 to 7 tool, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. You're working and choosing those thoughts to make sure you have that feeling to keep you grounded. Whatever your feeling is if you choose the feelings and you stay in that, and that's how you get to the end result where you're sitting in the movie theater with all your coworkers and everybody, all these creators that you've done this with.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
if you just focus on yourself.
Hollywood doesn't wait for people. I'm the original producer of the Harold Washington movie back 2015. We started this journey. And in the process of the journey, I went to so many different people. And there are other folks that have tried to pick up the movie and try to go with it because of the movie not being produced. But when one person goes out to 100,000 people or across the world, which I've done, I've been to Africa, Europe to produce this movie. Even during the time I just came back from Africa, while I was with my child, I've taken this idea to many different people, and because it hasn't been produced yet, I'm bringing the idea into the world. But Hollywood doesn't wait. It says, well, if you don't have the money, which is more anxiety, mind you, it's
so
piling up.
Joseph, can I say something, Joseph? Can I say something?
Yeah.
Are you comprehending what Nickey just said? See, you're stuck on the energy of people won't help me. You're stuck on the energy of Hollywood won't help me. You're stuck on the energy of I need to convince these people. You're stuck on the energy of people are turning me down. You have to create the energy for the thing you want to happen. You have to move your thoughts and create the feeling that it is done, because things are created on the energetic level first. You have to understand that. The more you keep saying to yourself what you're saying, the more you keep creating the anxiety, because you're creating the reality that you don't want.
Yes,
and you have to change.
Can I add a couple things?
Words are spellings.
Yes, you
right?
have to change it. The more you say it, the more you create it. What you have to do, like she just said, envision yourself in the theater, watching on top of the screen, a Joseph Chopin production. You have to see this. You have to feel the people in the audience. You have to feel it, because once you can feel it having happened, that's when the energy will change. That's when the energy will shift. And then that's when you will get a different response from people. As long as you are stuck in, well, this might be too controversial. Well, people might not react because I'm Black. Well, these people are turning me down. As long as you're stuck there, you're creating that. You have to create the energy for it having happened and it being done. That's the only way creation happens. You having believed it has happened in your mind and feeling how it feels when it has happened.
Yes, and Naima, let me give Joseph the exact words. It starts with, I am grateful for Fill in the blank every single time. Andrew and I wrote our list out Sunday night, Sunday night, not last night, of the 3 things that we're grateful for that we believe are happening this week. Andrew and I already manifested 2 of them. Okay, period.
Yes.
I am grateful for, fill in the blank.
And I would add, because it makes me feel, because when you tie a feeling to a thought, that's when that's the clicker we kind of miss sometimes, where you're grateful for something, but when you put that feeling and you can say, I'm grateful for, and that's also celebrating what you're grateful for that has happened, because it feels and it made me feel. That's the other piece as well that you can tie into that. And here's the thing, if you guys are like the I am statements, like I am love, I am enough, if that feels too far off where your body cringes, like I don't believe that, it's called a bridge belief. So you create a bridge belief that says it's safe to feel love, or it's safe to receive $60 million. It's safe to receive $60 million for my movie. If you're like, it's too far-fetched, do that, it's safe. And every morning, write down, it's safe to feel $60 million. And then like Naima was saying, you say it out loud. So then you read it out loud, say it out loud to the universe, and feel what it feels like. So that's the exercise you do every single morning with your meditation. Then you're going to get to a point where you're like, yeah, I know it's safe. I got that. I'm good. And then you can say, I am $60 million.
Amen, sister.
I am $60 million. Like, and so it's all about you. You're the only person you can control. And like she said, if you're arguing for your limitations, you're going to get your limitations. It's just law of attraction.
Yeah, right? What are you fighting for? Limitations or abundance?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Yeah.
I think too.
Feel how it feels when it has happened. Yes. Feel how it feels to have the $60 million. Right now you're feeling how it feels not to have it and be frustrated about not having it. Change that feeling. Change the feeling to having it. That's how you create it.
So
it's
Dana,
a metaphysical thing that works. That's why Jodi was telling you, read and listen to The Secret. It's a metaphysical reality that works. You create the feeling for something, and that's how you manifest it.
Yes. So, and I think, Joseph, if I could just say one thing, I feel like I'm hearing that you're in a place of vulnerability, and that's such a place of growth, and vulnerability is okay, and to embrace it is okay. You know, you have 2 huge things going on in your life with a baby and with your job. And I think embracing that vulnerability, being comfortable in it, and knowing that it's a place of change and growth for you is going to be such an amazing journey for you, or it's going to bring you to better places. And if I could just advise a few things, it would be, you know, to take the time every day to get yourself centered, bring in good renewing thoughts, try to remove the depleting thoughts. And then when you're in those renewing thoughts, when you're in, you know, happiness, love, serenity, contentment, when you're in those feelings, connect with your daughter, hold her, connect with her, spend time with her in those thoughts, because you're going to pass that on to her. And like we were talking earlier, she will feel those things. She will feel whatever you're feeling without you even having to say it. They're so connected to you so take the time to get to a place of renewal, get to good renewing thoughts, and then spend that time connecting with your daughter as much as you can every day, because that's going to be a great gift that you can give her.
Thank you all so much. Jamie, being present with his daughter, that's number one. I posted that earlier about 10 minutes ago, but you know, like, also Zelda Robinson has said, please remind Joseph that movie is made, that he was helped by some, I love this, sorry. She's saying, please remind him that when the movie's made, he was helped by some awesome women of the female solution.
Yeah, we should be seeing our names in the credits, Joseph. Visualize that.
Nickey Sampson, Naima Latif, Jodi, Suson, Calhoun,
I mean, we're good with the back row. It's okay. We're good with that.
And she says, congratulations,
Thank you all
Joseph.
so much.
You're on the way. Looking forward to seeing the Denzel Washington, of course, movie. And we want to interview you afterwards. Amen.
Right.
Zelda, I would display this, but it
much.
covers us all up because it's so long.
Thank you very much. This has been a very difficult time in life, but I really, really appreciate you all's help. And I'm glad. I feel like it was a blessing that I called in this morning.
I'm getting a ton of feedback.
Early this morning and told me to call in, and I'm so grateful. I'll say today, the first time I'll say I am grateful for the Female Solution because you all have helped me better realize my purpose.
Awesome, Joseph. And let me just say this, you can reach out to Nickey for coaching. You can reach out to Jamie. You can reach out to me. As I access Source Energy, we all do something different. So, Naima can connect you with any of us, and plus our information is on the thread here. And then I'm just gonna, thank you so much for calling in. We're so grateful. I think that the questions that you had were very thoughtful. The questions that you had contribute to the well-being of others beyond yourself. And we're so grateful when people call in and have such deep questions and concerns that impact not only you, but the rest of humanity. So we're so grateful for that.
Thank you.
So,
another break we got to take, or
Sister Naima, I believe I still have your number. I believe I still have your direct line. I'll have to check cell phone, but I still do believe that I have that because I've spoken to Sister Naima.
It's the same number. If you got it, you still got it.
And my number, you can call, my number is all over the internet, but Suson Essentials, 847-738-0242. I have put up Nickey's number and Jamie's number. These are the right numbers, right, ladies? Mm-hmm. And so Nickey is 402-310-3877. If you go to Facebook or YouTube, these numbers are in the thread. And then Jamie, 402-207-6534. And we are here to serve. So I'm going to go to commercial real quick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So let's see here. We're just going to do.
Hi, I'm Jodi Suson with Suson Essentials. I started Suson Essentials in 2015 because of a personal health journey. I was over-medicated and put on 19 different medications. And yes, I reversed all my chronic diseases using plant and energy-based healing. It was amazing. At Suson Essentials, we support both consumers and businesses, and we do that with helping your employees or yourself with a food as medicine mindset. How Suson Essentials supports businesses and consumers is we teach people about a food as medicine mindset. So we support people on how to support their own immune system, how to support their brain health, how to support their emotional well-being. And we do that all with plant and an energy-based healing.
Okay, so we are back. I could do another quick commercial for the Female Solution.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Care with Jodi Suson. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Okay, so we are back. Jamie, are you still getting feedback on your device?
Nope, it's better. Sorry, I could not hear the end of that conversation. So I'm going to have to go back and listen because I'm really sorry that I missed it. But yeah, I appreciate that conversation, and I can hear much better now that I took my AirPods out. It was something with my AirPods. So
yes, you know, Andrew and I realized, the earpods versus being stuck into the hardwire.
Right. So all of a sudden, all the voices slowed way down, and we sound monsters. And so
that's interesting.
I couldn't figure out what to do, and I took them out.
Okay, so remember the topic of this show is, and this is staying on topic for what you just said. Hold on. Removing interference.
Interference.
Right? So I'm really grateful that happened, because I'm going to show the world the impact of AirPods. Okay. And let me just pull it up. This is critical. Let me just do AirPods. And
you know, more people are using earpods because people are walking around
it's hard to believe that meant
devices. And they're told, you know, you have to have your earpods so you don't disturb other people. So
I'm going to tell you not to do this. I'm going to tell you to hardwire, and I'm going to show you why. Okay. If you're wearing an AirPod, it's I'm sorry to say this, it is frying your brain cells because the radiation is right at your ear, which is at your brain. So it's slowing down the blood supply, the blood circulation in your brain. And here is the 33-second video that shows this. Now we have to get past this commercial that they have.
Mobile can be good at just $15 a month. So as Mint's new owner, I brought...
Okay.
Here we have some Apple AirPods, and they are turned off with the case closed, low levels of RF. And look what happens immediately when we open the case and take out the earbud. Our levels of RF go up pretty high. You can see people walking around with the ear pod in their head.
Okay, look at that. 700 to 800 MV /M. That's off the charts. Let's keep playing.
It's peaking at about 700 or 800 millivolts per meter.
Okay, so we're gonna replay it.
Here we have some AirPods, and they are turned off with the case closed, low levels of RF. And look what happens immediately when we open the case and take out the earbud. Our levels of RF go up pretty high. You can see people walking around with the ear pod in their head.
Okay, so I think we get the point here.
It's peaking at about 700 or 800 millivolts per meter.
Okay, so let's remove that.
So I have a question. Now you say that's slowing down the blood circulation, in your brain.
Yeah. So what it happens, and I did a lot of research on this because my brother had a brain tumor, and we had to, and of course, then he passed. And this is prior to us knowing everything that we know now. But first of all, your phone, you're not doing that. It takes 20 seconds before it starts slowing down the circulation in your brain. We have done the measurements, and I work with a couple different companies that have like stickers and plugs that neutralize the effects of the electromagnetic frequencies. And we know that it clumps the red blood cells together, clumps your cells together. So if your cells are clumping together in your brain or any part of your body, so think about all the women, and I'm going to stand up here, who are getting breast cancer. Why? They're putting their thing right by their boob, right? Phone right with, in their bra is a place to hold it. Spoiler alert, don't do that. Like, this is not a play toy. This is a device that we need. You need to use it responsibly and all the other technology. Now, truth be it, you know, your microwave does this, your refrigerator does this, your oven does this, but you don't have it up against your head. Okay?
Wow.
And so
that's
we have neutralizer plugs. When Andrew and I go on vacation or go anywhere, that plug goes into our home, goes into an outlet, and within hours, it neutralizes all the effects of the electromagnetic frequencies up to 5,500 square feet. Anybody wants to know more, let me know. I can give you a link.
wow.
Not
That's
expensive.
powerful. That is definitely powerful. Jodi, I think you got one more caller.
Okay. And I just
773-734.
one thing, it does, even if you have these neutralizers, it doesn't give you permission to put it against your body.
Yes.
Okay, so we got one more caller, 773-734. Is that the one?
Yes.
Naima?
Yes.
Okay, let me do that. Thank you, Dolly. Okay, so, and you are the last caller. We've got just a couple minutes left on the show. What's your name and why are you calling? Hello.
Hey, how you all doing? Lamont the Mountain.
Lamont?
Thank you all. I've been very attentive to all the suggestions and the discussions and all. Let me get right to the point. I've done a lot to overwhelm my mind, spiritually intoxicated, and it's not a bad thing. I'm just giving you a prelude of where I'm at since we have a short amount of time. I can comment on each and every one of you all's statements and shares that you've done, but my primary question is, I have to take 3 grandpa naps because I can't sleep past 3 hours. I'm trying to learn how to stop thinking. There's a book called The Power of the Now by Eckhart Tolle, and he talks about the not to be able to stop thinking is a dreadful affliction. And so I put a lot on my mind. I've helped a lot of folks, did a lot of nonprofit activity, church and recovery programs.
So you want to know, because I just want to be mindful so we have time to answer your question, maybe how to get longer sleep and...
To get to the question now.
Okay,
the question
Jamie,
is, how do you get past 3 hours of sleep?
Jamie, I'm going to let you go with it first and Nickey, and then I have an answer for this as well, but I want you two to go first. Go ahead.
I think you can take it from several directions, but
your mind now.
Oh, excuse me.
Hear me?
Go ahead, Jamie.
I think you can take this from multiple directions, but I think definitely you need to address the racing thoughts. And I think the racing thoughts can be addressed in several ways. Journaling and writing down your thoughts before you go to bed and giving them to something else. So I don't know if you can see me, but I'm writing things down as we go through this talk today, because if I let all those thoughts stick in my head, I become anxious that I'm going to forget something. So I write it down, and I may not even ever talk about it or bring it up, but then it's just somewhere else. So taking the time to journal and write down your thoughts before you go to sleep is really important. Then taking the time.
Brooks, I'm tired of writing. I'm tired of researching. Go ahead.
No, it's even just like bullet points.
Yeah, just a few words before you go to bed.
If I showed you my room, I've written out thought processes throughout the day for years, for 10 years. I'm tired of writing. Seriously. I took the notes while you all was talking earlier. So I heard you, but go ahead.
Then take it to the breathing level. So just that Nickey recommended. What you want to do is change your baseline. So some heart rate variability training could be very beneficial for you. Bring your heart rate variability, get that. You're going to be getting back into those renewing emotions. If you're able to control your heart rate variability a little bit better, you're getting all your systems working together. So with your breathing, you're controlling your heart rate, you're controlling your thoughts. And so then you're getting into better hormone patterns. You're releasing dopamine and serotonin. Also, if you're wanting to sleep, you'll be releasing some GABA, and that will help you sleep better. So what you want to do is reset your baseline. You can do that with heart rate variability. You can do that with changing that baseline.
I'm doing that on a daily basis. I'm on a CPAP machine and I have sleep apnea. So, I make sure that I'm doing that. My breathing I'm doing that every day in my meditation. So I'm just putting this out just to see what type of answers I get. There's nothing new.
Anxiety.
Process of doing that.
Yeah, I would recommend resetting your baseline with heart rate variability there. Because it sounds like you've tried a lot of other things.
I have, okay, Nickey, do you have anything you want to add to that? Because if not, I'm going to go the nutrition and oil route.
You go right on ahead.
How do you stop thinking? It's a specific question. How do you stop your mind from thinking?
So I have the answer to that. So there's two, there's two answers. Number one, and Jamie's used it too, is the BOD, which you can contact me after the show, which is 847-738-0242. It'll put your brain in a theta state, calming. It works. I had racing thoughts for decades before I used the BOD for all my life. That's number one. So until I was 50, I'm now 58. Number two is specific essential oils that you can inhale, and it'll take your brain into a calm mode in 20 seconds. Okay. So again, if you want to call me, I have two solutions that do work, that don't include writing, and really you don't have to do anything but put the headset on or inhale the oil. It's easy. It works. It's based in science. Give me a call, 847-738-0242. You can call me after the show, or you can go to my website and schedule an appointment.
And I do have that. I have all.
There's a free consult button at the front top. Schedule with me, and we'll do a 20-minute free consult, and I'll explain to you what your options are, and then you can choose what you want to do from there. Okay?
Great. All right.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Well, there we go.
Thank you, Jodi. The BOD is a great device to also reset your baseline. I should have added that as well. So a heart rate variability training, but also the BOD device is a great way to reset your baseline.
Yeah. And one of the things that we did yesterday, I had Dr. Frank Lawless. We did 3 segments of 30 minutes each, and they're on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we did a segment on addictions. We did a segment on ADD and ADHD. And then we did a segment on anxiety, stress, and pain, and how to use the BOD and how it works and why it works in the way that it works. So, you know, I'll probably, what I'm going to do is send out this show in an email to everybody. Didn't have a chance to do it yesterday. And so we'll send it out, you know, after the fact. And I'll also put in those other 3 videos so that people can learn about the BOD. And I want to go, it's really big for me. I want to go into gratitude. I want to just go to Podbean and thank Dana Kaplan, Tony Rice, and we have somebody else here, Gina Sampson.
Who is speaking now? What's your name? Who's speaking now?
Jodi Suson.
Yeah, she's the host of the Tuesday show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, so I just want to thank them for participating in the show. I want to thank all of our listeners and callers on Blog Talk and on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. If you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel or any place else, I encourage you to do so. I usually don't ask because I always forget. That's not my mission. But my real mission is to support people in helping themselves and to be empowered. The best way to help you do that is to have you subscribe. So, getting over my limited thinking. We're all a work in progress, right? So I want to also just display once more the contact information for Nickey and for Jamie. So Nickey Sampson, 402-310-3877. Her website is nickeysampson.com. Jamie Klein, 402-207-6534. Her website, and is it Avant Brain Thrive? Because I never knew how to pronounce this part.
Avant.
Avant Brain Thrive. You know, you all are such a gift. And I don't always do this after every show. I want you both back on the show. I really want you both back on the show. You're all such a gift. Really such a gift.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm beyond grateful that Jamie, that Andrew connected us months ago in Nebraska.
I thought that was a Nebraska number. I used to live in Nebraska. I'm like, what is she saying in Nebraska? Yeah, okay.
Is in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I'm beyond grateful, Jamie, that you connected me to Nickey. You guys are both bright lights. Naima, I wanted to say this last thing. 1 year ago today, you called me.
Wow.
Today is the anniversary of Carmen Hipka's death.
Oh, wow.
1 hour, literally 60 minutes to the moment after she died, you called me. She was busy calling you.
Wow.
And so I am grateful to Carmen Hipka, who is my second mom. I've known her since I was a baby. She was my nanny. And then, of course, family friend. And as soon as she died, she was on you like white on rice.
There you go.
She's like, Naima, call her butt.
Yeah, there you go.
Get her on the show. So today's that day.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, thank you, Carmen.
Called me at 2, I think it was 2:25, and she had died at 2:25. So today's that day, and so this show is dedicated to Carmen Hipka, who was a bright light in my life, literally all my life. And without her, I would not be who I am today. And without you guys, I'm not even who I am today. So I'm so grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Likewise.
Thank you.
Such a blessing. And you've been such a blessing to our team of hosts, and you're just amazing. We appreciate you so much.
Well, I'm grateful that you've allowed me to have the platform to share real help with the world. So thank you. I'm grateful.
For changing the world.
Thank you. So, ladies, I'm going to end the show. And if you're able to stay on for a minute, we'll see if we can get some other dates. If you're not, we'll text. Okay. And, no worries. Let me just run the quick banner or the brand, and we'll do that.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.